Hey, Sophie. Just saw your message.
Oh, really?
It's not just oh, really. You should contact me in advance if you're coming home.
I did contact you. But since I didn't get a reply from Mom, I contacted Luna. I got permission to stay.
You know Luna is David's wife, right? It's obvious that you, as my sister-in-law, would be considerate. Sophie, you really don't think things through.
I do feel bad about it. The company messed up the hotel arrangements and I have nowhere to stay. There are vacancies in the next town, but it's a bit far from the client. Please let me stay for just a week.
Well, I guess it's fine. You do have your room.
There's no need to get mad. Anyways, I'll be at work during the day. Don't worry about me.
You'd want to do things for me since I'm back, wouldn't you? You're probably eating nothing but junk every day. I want to make sure you eat properly.
Junk? I do cook for myself regularly.
What do you think? You become really careless when you're alone, don't you? I have to make sure tonight's dinner has plenty of vegetables.
I'm fine. You can go as usual. By the way, I heard that Mom went to see a play?
Yes, that's right. It was very good. I'm also thinking of doing a little shopping, so it'll take me a little longer to get home.
I have the day off today. Should I come pick you up?
Oh, are you sure? Aren't you tired from the long drive if you came by car?
No, I've had a little rest. I'm fine.
Then I might take you up on that offer. Oh, how about we eat out for dinner?
I'm fine with that, but is Luna okay with it? She just went out saying she'd do a little shopping.
I'll contact her. Just wait a bit.
Okay, got it. Oh, but David is here too, huh?
David's been on a long business trip since last week. Don't worry about it.
Oh, is that so?
Both of you siblings chose jobs with a lot of business trips. Must be tough.
But there's the fun of being able to go to different places. Look, maybe the reason I can keep doing it, even though I get bored easily, is because of the business trips.
I wish you'd take a position where you could manage people soon.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, in time.
Sophie, have you ever thought about remarrying? Don't you have any good people around?
I've been married once, that's enough.
Don't tell me you plan on being single for life.
That's also life.
You always have a rebuttal, don't you? Maybe that personality led to the divorce.
Do you have to say it like that? And it's not like my personality had anything to do with it.
Alright, I got it. Oh, Luna says you two should have a nice time.
Really? Then I'll go pick her up. I'll buy Luna a souvenir on the way back.
Don't waste your money like that.
It's not a waste. She might have been considerate.
Well, we can talk about that later. I'm taking a break at a cafe near the station. So park your car nearby.
Okay, got it. Mom, I have a dinner appointment with a client on the day after tomorrow, so you don't need to prepare my dinner for a while.
Okay, I got it. So what time will you be back?
Let's see, around 10 p.m.?
So Sophie is the last one to take a bath. Please clean the bath before you leave.
Okay. Speaking of Luna.
Luna? Is there something wrong?
I haven't seen her in a while, and we've only met a few times. But has her atmosphere changed a bit?
Why do you ask?
She seems less friendly than before. Not that she's cold or anything. I just felt a bit of discomfort.
Isn't it because you suddenly use your home as a hotel?
Oh, that must be it. If your sister-in-law comes home to a house where she's living, it's bound to be a nuisance. I'm really sorry. I'll have to be more devoted to Luna for the rest of the few days.
You don't even have time to serve. What are you talking about? All you need to do is work and go home.
You don't have to say it like that. But I think it's better to be quiet and sleep rather than showing off my presence weirdly.
That's right. You don't need to do anything unnecessary.
I got it. But the living together is going well, right?
What's that all of a sudden?
Because she's living with me, right? I mean, I was fighting with my mother-in-law even though we weren't living together. I wonder how you can keep going.
In your case, it wouldn't work out. It's your harsh personality that's the problem.
Mom always has one too many words.
Sophie and Luna are totally different, right? I think Luna is a quiet and thoughtful daughter-in-law.
Well, that's good. Mom, there are very few wives who would live with their mother-in-law, so you should take care of her.
I'm doing that without you telling me. But lately, Luna has been a bit difficult.
Is it because I came back?
Actually, I didn't want to worry Sophie, so I wasn't going to tell you. But maybe I should talk about it.
What? Now that you've said it, I'm curious.
Luna started treating me badly.
What? Are you kidding me?
I wish it was a lie, but her attitude is different when David is there and when he isn't. Before she would smile whenever I asked her anything, but lately I've been ignored a lot.
Are you not pushing unreasonable demands on her?
I would never do such a thing. So honestly, I didn't want to show you that.
That's why you panicked when I suddenly came home.
I wonder if I've done something rude. But I was trying to interact with her in a way that wouldn't make her hate me.
It's possible since you often say too much.
But isn't it cruel to ignore me? I can manage somehow because she's normal when David is here. I'm sure she wants me to leave as soon as possible.
I don't see Luna as that type though.
You wouldn't understand because you're not living with her.
I can't say anything if you say that. Have you tried consulting with David?
I don't want to do it. I'm too embarrassed to say that I'm being taken lightly by my daughter-in-law.
It's not necessarily that you're being taken lightly. There might be some misunderstanding. And I think it would be better to ask her gently if you're worried.
It's okay. It's a problem I can solve by being patient. I'm the one who's living with her, and I don't want to cause trouble. Living alone in old age is lonely after all. Even if Luna is cold to me, it's better if my son David is with me.
I don't think you need to push yourself. And living with stress will only make both of us unhappy. If you're lonely, Mom, you can come to my apartment, you know?
No, thanks. I don't want to go to the house of a daughter who has no plans to even have a grandchild.
Oh, I see. But while I'm here, should I ask Luna gently?
No, don't do anything unnecessary. Sophie is already being a nuisance as it is.
I won't mention your name, Mom.
It's okay. I don't want to be stirred up by someone who's not usually at home.
I understand. But don't push yourself. If you have any problems, let me know.
After all, a real daughter is better than a daughter-in-law.
I don't think it's a good way to put it. Your attitude may be showing that you're thinking that way.
Who cares? I'm not going to tell Luna anyway. And of course Luna would prefer her real parents.
Well, I guess everyone thinks that way. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going back to work now.
Yes, work hard. And make sure to contact me if you can come home early.
Luna, I'm sorry. I'm late. Are you still awake?
Good evening, sister-in-law. Yes, I'm fine.
I'm sorry for suddenly barging into your house. I'll be leaving the day after tomorrow, so please let me disturb you until then. Also, I brought some souvenirs today, so please have them for your snack tomorrow.
Thank you always, sister-in-law. But you don't have to worry so much. This is your family home. Please relax and don't worry about me.
Thank you. Actually, there's something I've been worried about. Can I ask you about it?
Yes, what is it?
Actually, I've seen Luna going into the storage shed when I came home late these past few days. She wouldn't come out for a while after going in, and it was a reoccurring thing, so it caught my attention. It's still chilly at night here, right? What are you doing in the shed every night?
What am I doing, you ask?
Could it be that you're hiding from my mother and enjoying some hobby? It's okay, I won't tell my mother, so relax.
That's where my bedroom is.
Huh? You have a bedroom in the house, don't you?
Yes, I can use it when David is here.
So, does that mean you always sleep in the shed when David is on a business trip? I feel stupid asking this, but you're not sleeping in the shed of your own volition, are you, Luna?
No.
Could it be at my mother's instruction?
I'm sorry.
Why is Luna apologizing? The one at fault is my mother, right?
It's my fault for being an incompetent wife.
No, Luna, you're not at fault at all. It's my mother who's crazy for giving such instructions. Could you explain the situation in detail?
But if my mother-in-law finds out...
It's okay. I'll definitely protect you when this happens. Even so, it might not be possible to leave the house right away. I have to work again tomorrow.
Please don't push yourself. I'll be fine. Besides, I don't have a home to run to. This is the only place I have.
But I think it would be a good idea to take temporary refuge in your parents' home, Luna.
My parents don't care about me at all. Even if I went back to my parents' house, they would just tell me to leave.
So that's the background. I see. Leave it to me for now. I'll make sure you won't be treated unfairly.
Luna, you've been quite arrogant these past few days. Did you get spoiled because my daughter was nice to you? You even went out to eat, just the two of you, and neglected your housework. What on earth do you think you're doing?
What do you mean? We just went out to play together.
Huh? What's with that tone? My daughter has already gone home. You no longer have anyone to protect you.
Why do you think that?
Since David often goes on business trips, it's often just the two of us, isn't it? And you've been abandoned by your parents, so you have nowhere to go, right? If I tell David, he'll throw you out in no time.
That's how I gradually concerned you. You're really a piece of work.
Huh? Luna, you won't get away with it when you get back. Finish your shopping quickly and return home. I'll give you a proper sermon.
Luna won't be coming back.
Huh?
Sophie, I'm taking Luna home with me right now.
Huh? Is it really Sophie?
Yeah, I'll take Luna to my house for refuge as is. Mom, you've really been terrible.
Sophie, it's not like that. I just scolded Luna because she was being rebellious.
This is scolding? It's just bullying your daughter-in-law. And it's not like Luna told me about you, Mom. I just happened to see Luna going to the shed, and that's when I discovered your bullying. You fooled me pretty well.
Sophie, listen to me. You said it the other day, didn't you? That Luna has called me. So I thought I had to be strong, and I acted a bit bossy. There's a reason for it anyway.
Mom, I'm sending this from Luna's phone right now, you know? I've seen the conversation so far. So I know you've been bullying her behind the scenes.
It's true that Luna was cold to me.
Of course she'd be cold. You had her sleep in the shed when her husband David wasn't there. And you've been dumping most of the housework on Luna. And the verbal abuse is way too much. You're just as bad as my former mother-in-law.
Don't lump me in with that person.
From my perspective, you're the same. It's you who's been taking advantage because Luna doesn't talk back. I've also told David about this.
Huh?
Of course, I thought he might be the kind of guy who wouldn't protect her like my husband, but it seems he didn't know anything. He was really angry.
Sophie, please. Tell David it's a misunderstanding. I'll apologize to Luna properly.
Why do I have to do such a thing? You're the one in the wrong, Mom.
I won't be able to live with David. I don't want to live alone again.
That's because you did it, Mom. Luna has been trying so hard because she wanted to be recognized by you, and this is what happens when you treat her so badly.
I apologize. Please let Luna know. I will never be mean again. So please forgive me.
At the point where you're trying to win over kind Luna with a crying appeal, you're not reflecting on your actions. David also said that there will be no more living together, and they'll live in my house until they find a new place.
Sophie, please. I recognize Luna as my daughter-in-law. That's why there were times when I used strong words.
Your excuse is different from earlier, isn't it? You haven't forgotten that the trigger for my divorce was bullying my daughter-in-law, have you? The person who was told never forgets. I don't acknowledge as a mother anyone who wastes a daughter-in-law's kindness, consideration, and efforts to be recognized. Please reflect on your actions and live on your own.
I'm really sorry. But you know, as a mother, sons are very precious. If someone tells me I can't let my child go, I wouldn't know what to say. I didn't want to torment Luna.
So you're saying it's because she's your daughter-in-law that you find her annoying. It's amazing how you can line up such excuses. And it's amazing that you can say that to me, your own daughter. Stop talking because it's embarrassing. Goodbye.
Sophie, wait. Please. Listen to my story.
You're not a mother if you're a bully old woman. You sleep in the shed. Try doing everything you've done to your daughter-in-law once yourself. I'll listen to the story after that's over.
Sophie, you're my real daughter, aren't you? You can consider your mother a little, can't you?
You understand my tough personality, don't you? And real daughters, you know, aren't as kind as daughter-in-laws. After that, it seems my mother was thoroughly chastised by my younger brother when he returned from a business trip. Of course, my brother immediately ended the cohabitation, found a house, and is now living with Luna. My mother, now living alone, has become quite disheartened and tends to stay at home. Furthermore, since my brother has told her to have no further involvement, it's unlikely that she will ever see a child born to my brother and his wife. She now regrets what she did, but I think there is no room for sympathy. Since I've made all contact go through me, Luna shouldn't have to deal with any unpleasant experiences with my mother. If my mother ever seems to do something again, I'll prepare to sternly discipline her. And since the cohabitation ended, Luna has become as cheerful as she was when she first got married, and she occasionally comes over to our house to hang out. I'm glad I was able to notice her being bullied by my mother because she is truly a kind and wonderful person. My mother may have had her own feelings about this, but there's no reason to bully her daughter-in-law. I suppose there will always be various issues for as many couples and families as there are. But for now, I am glad to have eliminated one abusive mother-in-law from this world. I plan to continue supporting my close-knit brother and his wife, wishing for their happiness.
Jackie, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when are you going to quit that job of yours? There's just no way you can properly manage full-time work while raising a child. Poor Heather. Is this really how you want her to remember her childhood? You never being around because your job always took priority? If you want what's best for Heather, then you should stay at home full-time. Elaine, it's good to hear from you. But do we really have to discuss this issue yet again? My answer will remain the same, no matter how many times you bring this up. It's just not an option for me to leave my job now, and I have no intention of doing so either. I hope you haven't forgotten the fact that I run my own company. If I leave, there won't be anyone left to run the company. are you talking about? You can just leave that up to your replacement. I'm sure there are other capable people who can take over as president, but there's only one mother for Heather, and that's you. Are you sure that you really understand that responsibility? And yet you still choose to neglect the housework and childcare just so you can keep working. Nothing is being neglected, just so you know. I do my share of the housework and childcare and make sure that Heather is my #1 priority, always. Except for the time that Heather spends at daycare, I'm always right by her side. That's not what I'm talking about. What if something were to happen to Heather during the day? You might be too busy with work and be unable to get to her when she needs you. Have you ever thought about that? Just imagine how she'd feel. I've definitely considered that kind of situation. And that's why I always keep my phone right next to me, so that I can be reached at any time during the day. I've always been available whenever Heather needs me, so I'm quite certain that she doesn't feel like she's missing out on anything. That's what I'm saying. You're just trying to justify your reasons for not being with Heather all the time. My poor granddaughter. How lonely she must be all the time. Just so you know, I won't acknowledge any woman with a job as my daughter-in-law. In my family, a mother's #1 job is taking care of her family. What does Jason say about all this? Surely he doesn't support the idea of you working so much. Actually, Jason is very encouraging about me working. He knows how hard I've worked to build up my career this far, so he doesn't want me to let it go for the sake of her family. We both share the load in raising Heather and keeping up our house, so we've already discussed how we will always support and help one another in this family. I see. Perhaps I raised Jason to be much too kind of a gentleman. He's very respectful of your wishes, isn't he? But I'm sure that's not how he truly feels. I think that he'd be happier if you would be at home full time. But what can I say? You were well aware of my wishes to continue working even before Jason and I got married. I thought it was a mutual understanding. And my thoughts about my career haven't changed since then, so leaving my job isn't even an option for me. You're really such a stubborn woman. Jason earns more than enough to support you and Heather. Don't you live comfortably enough already? Of course, I don't just work for financial reasons. My job is also one of my passions. It's something I've always dreamed of doing, and I just can't let it go that easily. But also in this day and age, you never know what could happen. I just feel that it's better not to rely on just a single source of income. Are you saying that you're worried about being dependent on my son? Do you think that he's going to lose his job or something? Absolutely not. I would trust Jason with my life. But this is something we've already discussed and decided on together. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to do as you say. I just thought that once you got married and had children, you'd finally realize that a woman's place should be in the home. But I guess I was wrong. You just don't know when it's time to give up, do you? Like I said before, I refuse to acknowledge you as my daughter-in-law. You're not my family. You don't even have the decency to heed my advice. We might as well be complete strangers. I don't know what to say. Well, there's one thing for sure that I can tell you. We're planning to go out to a fancy Italian restaurant to celebrate Heather's graduation from preschool. But you don't have to join us. We'll keep the celebration to family only. Excuse me, that just seems a bit ridiculous, don't you think? I'm pretty sure that Heather herself wouldn't be happy about that situation. Besides, I don't think it's right that my daughter should be caught up in your drama. Perhaps you can leave your complaints about me behind for just one night when we're out celebrating Heather. That's just you being selfish. You're the one who's not willing to compromise and won't even consider my request. Why don't you try to make the effort to meet me halfway for once? I think I've made more than enough effort to be on good terms with you until now. We visited you every single month since Heather was born, even though it takes us more than 2 hours each way to your house. But that's because we want you to spend time with her as well. And we thought that you enjoyed being able to see your granddaughter as often as possible. Of course I enjoy seeing her. But isn't that just an obvious courtesy you should pay? Or do I have to give you a reward or something for just doing your duty? You're just doing what's expected of you anyways. Is that really how you think of me? What about the monthly allowance that we send you? We do that out of generosity, so you can live comfortably without having to worry about money. You don't get it, do you? I would have gotten my monthly allowance regardless of whether Jason married you or not, so don't think you're doing anyone any favors. But since Jason did end up marrying you, of course you should be sending money to support me now. I'm not sure that's quite how it works. Anyways, I hope you understand what I'm saying now. You are to quit your job immediately. This is no longer just a request, but an order. We still need to discuss this matter in more detail next time. Hey, sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. I just finished work, so I'm on my way home now. Were you able to get dinner ready and eat with Heather already?
Yeah, everything here is fine. Heather helped with the cooking and did a really great job. She said she wanted to do something special for you since you always work so hard. So we made a feast together.
Wow, I can't wait to get home. We're so lucky to have such a kind and understanding daughter. She's such an angel.
She gets it from her mother. When I was struggling with my job and wanted to switch to something part-time, you didn't even hesitate to step up and say that you would support our family financially. You have no idea how much that meant to me. I don't know what I would have done if you had second-guessed my decision.
Of course I would never doubt you. And we promised that we would support each other no matter what happened. But now you're much more involved in caring for Heather and pretty much handle everything around the house. Heather surely seems to enjoy having you around all the time now. And thanks to you, I can spend more time at work now than before without having to worry about Heather all the time.
You have no idea how lucky I feel to have such a confident and hardworking wife. And I think this part-time job is working out for me. I feel like I can stay here for a while. Although it's not much of a salary, I hope that it still contributes to our household income.
There's no need to talk yourself down like that. I told you how grateful I am about having you around the home more often. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. And for our family, it worked out better that I work full-time and you stay at home almost full-time. It's a perfect balance for us.
Oh, you're such a saint. I didn't know what I would have done if I didn't have your support. Thank you for everything.
Don't be silly. You're just as supportive of me, and I'm also grateful for all your hard work.
By the way, my mom called earlier. Did she tell you not to come to Heather's graduation celebration?
She sure did. But if I really don't attend, I'd just be playing right into her hands. I'm not going to give her that satisfaction. I plan on showing up regardless of what she says.
Yeah, you're right. I had a feeling that's what you would say. As a matter of fact, I decided to finally settle this conflict with my mom, once and for all.
What do you mean?
I know that you haven't told my mom that I quit my job and only work part-time now. And don't get me wrong, I really appreciate that consideration. But I feel like that's why she's getting so carried away, because she's unaware of the actual situation. It's starting to get pretty ridiculous how she's always trying to force you to quit your job.
Well, I guess if she knew our current situation, she'd realize that leaving my job isn't even an option. And I'm sure she wouldn't keep threatening me to quit working if she knew how crucial my income was in supporting our family, right? But I just didn't find the need to tell her all this. Especially knowing what a toxic parent she is, she would have just forced you to keep working, even against your will. And she would have just kept meddling in our family's business, because she always wants to control the situation her way.
Exactly, and that's why we decided not to tell her about my current working situation. But she's always been much too involved in our business, and imposing her unwelcome advice on us. So I told her quite firmly that she needs to stay out of our business from now on. That the way we run our household will be up to you and me.
Really? You said all that? It's unusual for you to be so firm with your mother.
I know, and since she raised me single-handedly, I've always had a hard time fighting back when she had such strong opinions. I didn't want her to think that I was ungrateful or anything, because I'm sure that she had to sacrifice so much. But you actually made me realize that she was a problem, that it wasn't normal to be so controlling.
I'm glad that you can see that now, and better late than never, right?
Yeah, but because I was afraid to confront her all this time, she thought that she just kept hurling all these insults at you. But I don't want to stand back and do nothing about it anymore. She caused you more than enough trouble already. The next time she acts inappropriately and disrespects our family in any way, we'll just make a clean break from her.
Are you sure that's what you really want?
Of course. You and Heather are my biggest priorities right now. And I'm willing to take any means to stand up against anything or anyone that would even think to make either of you the least bit unhappy. And to make things even worse, it seems like my mother has been telling lies about us to Heather.
What do you mean? That's just unbelievable. I'll be home soon, so I hope you'll tell me everything.
I thought that I made myself clear when I told you not to show up for Heather's celebration. What part of "don't come" did you not understand? Because it seems like you're still heading to the restaurant after all. You should be ashamed for being so impudent to think that you can impose on a family gathering like that. But I told you that I was going to attend, regardless of whether you wanted me there or not. Fair enough, do as you please, but I'm telling you right now that you're only going to end up making a big fool of yourself. We're having a big family celebration for my granddaughter. I told you I don't consider you as part of my family, so you can help yourself to just the bread bowl or something if you insist on burdening us with your presence. Fine, I understand. So that means we'll no longer be sending you money every month, since that's a family obligation. What do you mean by that? I mean exactly what I said, but let me make it clear for you so that there's no misunderstanding. As you said, we're not family, so you won't be receiving any money from us anymore. I don't want my hard-earned money being wasted on such an ungrateful person anymore. What did you say? Don't you even know that it should be your duty to financially support me as my son's wife? You can't just stop sending money because of some difference of opinion. I'm sure my son would never allow that. What does he say about all this? In fact, Jason is talking about cutting all ties with you. He said that he can no longer bear the terrible way you've been treating me. He's run out of patience with you and doesn't want to be at your beck and call all the time anymore. That's impossible. I sacrificed so much to raise him single-handedly. He would never say such a thing. I didn't raise him to be that ungrateful. Of course not. And that's why Jason has always been so thoughtful of you and wanting to ensure that you live comfortably. Even if he didn't agree with some of your ways, he always kept those opinions to himself. But now he has his own family that he needs to protect and provide for. And since you keep trying to interfere with our family, he's finally decided to cut all ties with you. That can't be true. I'll never allow that to happen. It's not up to you to decide, so it doesn't matter what you think. We won't be sending you any money from now on since we're not family, as you said. And we'll no longer be involved with one another either. Which obviously means that our monthly visits are over as well. You can't do that. Just think about how upset Heather will be if she's no longer able to see me. It's wrong for you to keep my granddaughter away like that. Actually, Heather says that she doesn't like you all that much, as a matter of fact. She said what? Why would she say such a thing? Isn't it true that you've been telling her lies about me this whole time? Just like how you used to badmouth your husband in front of Jason when he was a child? What kind of child would be happy hearing lies about their own parent? Those aren't lies. I was just giving her my opinion. Are you saying that it's wrong to tell Heather what I think? If it makes her uncomfortable to hear those things, then yes, it's wrong. And she's made it quite clear to us that the only reason she enjoys going to your house is because of your dog. She wants to play with your dog, so she has no choice but to spend time with you as well. But that won't be a problem anymore, since we just decided to adopt a dog. What? are you planning on taking care of a dog? You and Jason are hardly at home because you both work such long hours.
Actually, Jason left his job a while ago and works part-time now. He has a much more flexible schedule than before, so he's able to accommodate being at home.
What? Jason only works part-time. How is that possible?
We didn't say anything to you about it because we knew that you would try to control his decisions. Jason had a hard time working full-time at his previous job, so I encouraged him to look for something part-time. He uses the extra time now to watch Heather and take care of the house, and it makes Heather feel like she's on top of the world to have her father's undivided attention like that.
You're just kidding, right? Just doesn't make sense. Is he even earning enough just working part-time?
Well, he earns less than half of what he used to. But thanks to him being able to spend more time at home, I've been able to work longer hours. So our total household income has gone up, as a matter of fact. It doesn't always have to be the man's responsibility to financially support the family.
I can't believe that my son, the man of the house, is actually dependent on his wife. I didn't raise him to think that it was acceptable for a woman to be the breadwinner.
You never gave him any room to think for himself. And that's why he felt so pressured to obey you, which probably caused a huge burden on his mental wellness. But we were able to resolve that problem, no thanks to you, and things have been going quite well so far. So, from now on, anything concerning our family will be dealt with by ourselves, which I'm sure will work out for the best in the end.
But reducing the monthly payments to me for that reason is just unfair.
Who said anything about reducing the payments? I'm pretty sure that I was clear that we will be stopping the payments. And in case you didn't understand the first time, we're cutting all ties with you immediately.
But why? It's your duty to care for me and make sure that I'm able to live comfortably.
Huh? But you've said so many times that you don't consider me as a part of your family because I have a job. That means we have no obligations to one another. Of course, that includes financial obligations. Oh, and we won't be attending the dinner to celebrate tonight. So you can enjoy your fancy Italian feast all by yourself.
What? Wait just a minute. Fine, I get your point now. Let's talk this over like mature adults. I'm sure we'll be able to come to a mutual understanding.
Oh, it's too bad, but I have absolutely no intention of coming to any understanding with you. I have already tried to discuss this matter with you so many times, but you just continue to insult and criticize me. So now I'm quite fed up with your terrible treatment. A bully like you deserves to be abandoned by everyone and should live a sad and lonely life all alone. After that, Elaine rushed to my house all flustered, only to find herself in front of an empty home. My family were all on our way to celebrate Heather's graduation at a different restaurant instead. Fortunately, that means I didn't have to deal with her in person ever again. After that, we moved away without saying anything to her about where we were headed. Elaine had no choice but to increase her work hours so that she was able to support herself. Since she had no idea where we were anymore, she no longer had anyone to rely on, or to impose her biased opinions on.